This is lesson 117, and it is finding a whole when a fraction is known. Okay, so the first first lesson they give you is 2/5 of the class are boys. If there are 10 boys, how many students are there in all? So what you want to do is look at your denominator. So if you have 2/5, you're going to take a whole bar and break it into 5 groups. Okay, so I've broken my bar into 5 groups. They told me that 2/5 are boys. So I know that 2 of those 5 boxes are boys. And I know that there are 10 boys. So if those 2 together are 10, how many go in each box? 5. There's 10 boys right there. Well, if these are equal groups, then I know there's 5 in each box or each group. So all together, I must have probably 15 girls. So I have 10 boys, 15 girls. I have 25 kids all together. So 2/5 of 25 is 10. Does that make sense? So the trick with this is looking at your denominator to figure out how many boxes to break it into. Okay, so let's look at example 1. They say 3/8 of people voted, and I paraphrase this. If 120 people voted, how many people are in the town? So how many boxes am I going to break this into? 8, and they need to be equal. Now I probably can't draw them equally, but so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's not too bad. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And I know 3/8 of those people voted. So 3 of those people, 3 of those boxes voted. Okay. So, and how many are in that altogether? 120. So how many is in each box? So 120 divided by 3 is 40. So I know there's 40 there, 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 right? So how many altogether? 40 times 8. Okay, so 320 people altogether, right? So 5/8 did not vote. So I could figure that part out easily too, right? So that'd be 200 people, and that'd be 120 people. So that can get a lot of information out of this. Again, look at your denominator, break it into that many groups, and then you can figure out, based on what information they give you, what number goes in each group. Okay, let's look at example 2. I'm going to give you a slightly different way to do this, and then we'll go back and do this the same way. This is easier to me, but it's a little bit more advanced. It's algebraic. So 6 is 2/3 of what number? So I could do the same thing. I could look at 3, break it into 3 groups, but I'm going to make this into a math sentence or an algebraic sentence. So 6 is 2/3 of what? So is means equals, of means multiply, what means an unknown, okay? So 6 is 2/3 of what? 6 equals 2/3 times, I don't know, question mark. More commonly, that x is going to be your variable, so we don't use that necessarily to indicate multiplication anymore. You can use a dot. You can jam a number and a variable together or a letter together. Again, you don't have to know how to do this, but man, is it handy if you can figure it out. So I'm going to say 6 is 2/3 of an unknown. What? Okay. I want to get rid of whatever's attached to the n, right? I want to say n equals my answer. So to do that, I want to multiply, somehow turn whatever's attached to the n into 1. So I'm going to multiply by the reciprocal, right? So it was 2/3, so I'm going to multiply by 3/2. So multiply both sides of the equal sign. I have 3/2 times 6/1, and 2 times 3 is 6, 3 times 2 is 6. So that does indeed turn into a 1, right? So that can go away. I can just say, oh, I just have one n. And then I can multiply my fractions. So now it's easy, right? Because I put the 1 underneath. 3 times 6 is 18. 2 times 1 is 2. And that equals n. 18 divided by 2 is 9. So that's one way you can do it. Play around with that. You'll have more of that next year. Again, if you can figure that out, life is beautiful. If you can make word problems into math sentences. Remember, is, of is multiply, what is your unknown? So play around with those. If you get really bored one day during the summer. So I could do it the same way. 6 is 2/3 of what number? I'm going to look at my denominator, break it into 3 boxes. I know that 2 of those boxes equal 6, right? So if those 2 together equal 6, then I know there's 3 in each box. So 2/3 of the whole thing, 3 plus 3 plus 3 is 9. So again, that works really well as well. You can just apply algebraic expressions from word problems to a lot of situations. So good luck.